But besides denial and illusion, there's other techniques. And what I want to ask you is, what are they? Because many of you have them. So what are the other techniques? Denial is like, no, it's not happening. Illusion is different things happening. What are the other techniques? Charlotte, if we go Charlotte and then across to
Johnny.
Johan.
To blame or judge?
Blame or judge, yes. So they're two separate ones really, aren't they? So blame, let's write
And
that.
Charlotte, do you mean to blame others and judge others, or to blame and yourself as well?
Judge yourself, yeah. You can do both, can't you?
Yeah.
What does blame do? It distances the problem from you. Or if you're blaming you, it takes the problem away from someone else, if it's their problem. Right? So judging does the same. But judging is even perhaps more difficult, because judging is basically saying they're worthless if they do that. Or if you're judging yourself, you're going, I'm worthless if I do that. And either thing is bad. Right? So these are ways to control harder emotions, right? So John?
To minimize.
To minimise, yeah.
That it's not that bad.
Yes. So it's only two pieces of chocolate a day, right? It's only 1 cup of coffee. Yep. So just straight behind, and then as we go back.
To make excuses?
Excuse, yes, we excuse. Very good.
Mine is a special
Yours
case.
is the same?
The excuse is a classic.
Yeah.
Yes, to go back to what we discussed before the break regarding the resources. Last century, we were less than 2 billions in this earth.
Yep.
We are now approaching, we are already 8.
8.
We are going to be, by 2050, I guess, something around more than 10.
Yeah.
And by the next century, we will be almost the double.
Yeah.
So, and this is creating a huge problem regarding the available resources.
Well, it's the lack of love that creates a huge problem. The Earth has been created to support 60 billion people. So having 16 billion people is not going to be a problem for the Earth if we loved it. The problem is we don't love it. Yep. And that's the real problem. And what I'm trying to get at here is, why don't we love it?
Yeah, but let's say what I've observed, most of my time I live in Asia.
Yeah.
30 years ago in China, almost nobody was drinking coffee.
Yeah, that's right.
Now coffee in China is becoming a big business.
That's right.
There are coffee houses and coffee bars everywhere.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
So that is just how the people adapt, let's say, to additions.
Yeah. And remember, that's what I said earlier. If 8 billion people do it, that's a lot it's going to be a lot worse for the environment than if, a few hundred people do it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. And of course, all this has also a very important economical value.
Yeah.
From the financial point of view. Yeah?
Yeah.
As well as the water we are drinking, from the economical point of view, is already a scarce resource.
Yes.
And being a scarce resource is attracting because there is a lack of water.
Yep.
Now,
and it's attractive to big business, isn't it, too?
Of course.
Yep.
The biggest companies,
but
they are heavily investing in the water. So.
But we're pretty off topic here now.
Yeah.
Because what I want to do is focus on...
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
That's why I step back.
No worries.
I'm sorry for that. But,
if you might behind. Yep. And then down here... to France, yep.
Hello. I just wanted to say that we've all been conditioned to some extent, haven't we, by our background and
certainly
so on,
we have.
So, and we all have this habit, I think, of judging and comparing ourselves with everybody else. And obviously those judgments and comparisons are going to be completely in error, because we have no idea what the experiences of another person has been in their background.
Very true.
So, to go back to the other point about comparing the two squares of chocolate and whatever, if we...
You're fighting for it a fair bit, but
yeah. I'm still fighting.
You're still fighting, yeah.
I'm going to a bit more extreme now. You know, it's a bit. You know, we can't really judge anybody else, can we? About, you know, whether they have a bar of chocolate or a square of chocolate or whatever. You know, if you're somebody working on the rubbish tip in India, for example, you know, and you've been given that hand to deal with sort of thing in life,
Yeah.
then it's not really fair, is it, to say, oh, they've had a bar of chocolate or whatever, when they can't really afford anything else. You know, it might be one of their limited pleasures in life, sort of thing.
Yeah,
so
but
we
now,
can't really make a sweeping statement that this is
Can you
wrong
see
or
what you're
that's
doing
wrong.
now, though, to yourself?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. see, this is the trouble. Is I agree with the comment completely. You see, what you're doing now is you're manoeuvring the conversation away from yourself. And I agree totally that the poor young fellow in India who's working in a rubbish tip and he finds some chocolate in the rubbish, he's going to eat it, right? And I don't begrudge him that. And in fact, he shouldn't even be in the rubbish tip. And if I could do anything about it, which I'm trying to do, by the way, by teaching you how to love, then I would help him out of the rubbish pit if that was my... If I was there, that's what I would do, right? Now, the problem is, when we do that kind of manoeuvring, we are just shifting away from our own error. We're basically saying, now I feel judged, and now I feel criticised, and now I feel... And the reality is, God's law is judging you right now. It is. And I'm telling you it is. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying God's law is saying what you're doing is ethically wrong.
Yeah, but you're saying that, not God.
No, God's law is saying that. This is what I'm saying to you is that God's law is already saying that, and if you could feel God, you would feel him saying it. And what I'm saying to you is you don't want to feel him saying it, and that is how you stay in error.
Yeah, but with due respect, you don't know sort of what my experiences of life have been. And, you know, like you said before...
You say that, but you don't understand me at all.
And also inherent in your question is the implication that you are being judged, and you're not being judged.
Well, yeah, exactly. But
that's
I don't
your
mind being
feeling.
judged by God. But
No,
you know,
you do, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is you do. All I'm doing is saying to you how God's law is going to judge you. That's
yeah, but
all I'm doing.
there's a lot of variables, isn't there, in what's in affecting somebody's decisions and what they take. But
I'm referring to what's affecting yours.
Yeah, but you don't know what's affecting mine. That's my point.
I do. I know you far better than you know yourself.
Okay.
And you don't believe that, I know.
Okay, give me some examples.
And by the way, God knows you even better than I do. And all I've got to do is ask God about you, and he'll tell me anyway. These are things you don't realise about God's truth. The more you progress and the more in harmony with God you become, the more you know about everybody you meet. The more you know what's driving them, what emotions they have, why they have them, what justifications they have. The more you know all of these things. This is some of the advantages of growing in your relationship with God. But you don't know me well enough to know that I know those things. Someone like Julius, who's had some experience with me, knows that I know things about him that he didn't know about himself, right? And I knew them. I didn't have to talk to him and ask him about his life, and I didn't have to ask about his experience at all. The very first time we had an opportunity to have a conversation, I said to him what the problem was, and now 5 years later, he's seeing the problem for himself, right?
Yeah, but we've never had a conversation.
Well, I don't need... Well, we're having one now for a start. but I don't need to have a conversation to feel a person.
I didn't tell him anything.
Julius never told me anything. When I first met him, he didn't tell me anything about his life, anything about his parenting, his mother, his father, nothing. I told him about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Now, I'm not saying that's a special thing. I'm saying that every single celestial spirit has that ability. Every single person who has a relationship with God grows in that ability. You will grow in that ability. You will even look back on this conversation with me and go, what was I thinking? You will, because you are arguing for your own lack of ethics, and later on in life you'll go, what was I thinking doing that? That just delayed my own progress. You're fighting for?
I feel as if I'm fighting for the truth.
I know you do.
I don't mind being told.
That's what our era does.
That's
Yeah.
what error does.
Yeah.
How you're feeling right now is good that we're having this interaction, because how you're feeling right now is how everybody who ever hears me feels. It's how Julius felt when I talked to him 5 years ago.
I felt
It's how
it.
Mary felt when
Yeah.
I first met her,
Who hasn't?
right?
Who hasn't?
Everybody who's ever had a personal conversation with me feels this way. Everybody.
Terrible.
It's terrible.
It was the
Yeah. So microphone, just because otherwise,
I know. If you
leave the microphone up there.
Yeah.
Microphone here.
Like it was I would, back in the day, I would say it was the worst 3 days in my life. Like in a sense of like it was so confronting.
I'm getting
like,
picked on every day. I'm getting
Yes.
abused every day. This is how Julius. I don't even know how he felt before he was feeling it. By the way, like so, and it was when he went away and he's going, "That was a terrible experience. Why would I go back there again?" You know, and this is part of the feelings, isn't it? This is a part of the feelings that go on between the confrontation of error and truth. And this is what I would like. This is why I'd like these conversations, because you need to see these are the feelings you're going to have. You're going to have them. This error is fighting for itself. It's fighting for itself. And you're going to feel so justified. You're even going to feel like I'm telling you a lie and you're telling me the truth.
Yep.
That's how Julius felt. And 5 years later, you now feel quite differently, right?
I don't know if quiet, but
Well, the
I feel
mosquito
quite
illustration that you gave, which was very true, obviously inspired, is triggering now a chain of events which you can now choose to act upon and sort this issue out. And in the process, you will also be, you will find, you know, you're heterosexually inclined, aren't you?
yeah.
And yet these women want to stay away from you because after 2 weeks with you, they just feel like, right? And so this one injury is going to allow people to actually feel more compassion and understanding for Julius rather than feel like they're being used by Julius. Yeah? And so that's going to benefit your future. But it could have happened 5 years ago, but as you experienced 5 years ago, and as you're experiencing right now, I should say, the error is going to fight for itself, right? Many of you haven't even begun that yet. Like, we were in Brussels last week. Almost every man in the audience was unaffected by the 3 days of conversation. The reason why is because they already believe themselves to be above it all. Right? Every woman in the audience, almost to a individual, by the time we had done 3 days, was angry as mad as, I don't know what you have in your language, mad as whatever, angry as whatever, but they were pretty angry with me. They went away from the group angry. Why? Because I was telling them that they had to feel fear, and they were feeling like fear is a good thing. Fear protects me. Fear is good for me in my life. I'm a woman. I have the right to be afraid. Look at the world. It's man-dominated, crap from men all the time. You have the right to be scared. And so they walked away being angry. That's the error fighting for itself. You need to understand that, right? Because if you don't understand that, you won't go beyond that. Like, don't you think there's things that God has shared with me and I've been mad as a hatter about it? Like, one of the very first things that I was really angry about was who I was. Like, remembering, you know, like, just remembering. My God, like, how am I going to say to a bunch of people that I'm Jesus? What does he expect of me, for God's sake? You know, like, how bad is that? Nobody's ever going to listen to what I've got to say once I say that. You know, and I actually tried for about, 3 minutes. No, it was more like 2 days. I tried to be in front of a group of people talking to the truth about them without saying who I was. You know what happened? I was doing these whole things about secrets of the universe and all these other things, and people would start going, how do you know all this? And I just ignored it and I keep going with the discussion, you know. And people can say again, how do you know this? And I go, how do you know this? By the second day, it was the same group of people, second day, how do you know this? And one person said, you never answer the question, how you know all this. So I was saying, okay, I have to put everything down and go. The reason why I know all this is because I've been around for 2,000 years and I've been in the spirit world for most of that time, and that's how I know this. And actually, my name's Jesus. It's not, you know, Alan John Miller, as you think. But, and there was like silence after that, of course. So,
No more questions.
you know, and everybody in the audience I could feel were going, he just said he's Jesus. Why am I even listening to this guy? You know? So I learned very quickly that if I was not going to be honest with a group of people in the audience about who I was, then how would I expect them to be honest with me about anything either, right? But I had to go through that experience. So I knew that it would be confronting for you to know that when I meet you, for the most part, I know what almost all of your feelings and where they come from. Most of you don't realise that, but I do. People who interact with me individually soon find out that's the case, but their error is the very first thing that happens. It's the very first thing that happens, just like my error was the very first thing that happened between me and God. Exactly the same as that. The error wanted to fight for itself, and in my case, the error wanted to fight for itself, but God sorted me out good pronto, quick. He sorted me out with regard to any error I had. It was criticised immediately, exposed publicly, and I learnt, deal with it now. You know, stop thinking that I know better and start listening is what I learnt. And to be frank with you, it's exactly what you're going to have to learn if you want to progress. Yep.